Melissa being a special education teacher in the Bloomington Transition Center. She's taught over 19 years in special education, general education, and as a coordinator, and really has that belief and passion for PBIS being a critical component and success for that student engagement and really building those lifelong social skills. And then we also have Luann Strakota, who also works for the Bloomington Transition Center and taught for 15 years in the Bloomington School District and 6 years in a private school in St. Louis Park. And also passionate about PBIS and found it to be very successful for engaging our students. So I, with that, would love to turn it over to Melissa and Luann. And I'm going to put an additional resource in the chat for everybody.
Hi guys, thanks for joining us today. We are just working through a couple of tech things. Please bear with us as we are trying out some new technology for the first time with being that we're having students will be coming and presenting in just a few minutes with us. So can everybody hear us okay? Yeah,
You
okay.
sound great.
Great, because we have a new microphone that we've just tried out. All right, on the bottom of the screen here, you can see that we have a bit.ly for you that has all of the resources. We're going to do our best to get through them all, but if we are unable to, just know that in each of the resources within the bit.ly, there are directions and kind of an explanation of what we use it for and how we use it. Okay.
All right, we're very excited to be here and share our information with all of you that have joined the meeting today. I just want to say that really without Melissa, I don't think we would be here. So she's really the mindset behind our PBIS program here at BTC. And it's been a pleasure working with her. So
thanks, Luann.
You're welcome. So our agenda for today is, first of all, we're going to talk a little bit about the background about our site at BTC. And then we're going to have some students that are here today that are volunteering their time to come in the summer to talk a little bit about their own journey here with us at BTC using the PBIS. Then we will give you some ideas that you can bring back and use in your classroom. And at the end, we'll open it up for any questions or anything that you want to talk about or want to know more about. We can talk about that. Okay, at the Bloomington Transition Center, we support students who are 18 to 21 years old with mild to moderate disabilities. So our students really, after like high school, say they just need to work on a few more things, they can come to our program and we can help them get that transition list completed. And some of the things on the transition list really includes like, how are they going to get around the community? Do they have transportation needs? Do they have a job? And employment is one of our big ones too, is making sure that they have the skills to be able to maintain a job and keep a job. And then we also about the transportation and budgeting so that they know how to manage their money when they're living on their own. And then we also work on the 3 areas, as I said, the employment, post-secondary training, and independent living. So we really cover those areas so that when they do leave our program, that they're feeling confident and comfortable to be out on their own. And then we support AIM both in the building and within the community. And we'll be going over what that AIM is about in some slides ahead. At BTC, what we do is we aim for success. So our aim is really about acceptance, independence, and merit. And this logo that you see in front of you was created by one of our students. And he came up with about 20 different designs, and this is the final one that the students voted on and that they really liked as we wanted to use as our logo for our BTC. Okay, and then Melissa's going to talk a little bit about the building matrix that we use here at BTC with our students.
So as you can see, we have a matrix just like everybody else, and again, we look at acceptance, independence, and merit. Up in the corner, you'll see, again, you have access to the slideshow. So there's a lesson and an example lesson and then kind of the format that we use for our lessons. Luann, we go to the next slide. But we also here at BTC, because we are so community focused and employment focused, we have what we call our extensions matrix. So this is outside of the building. So any of our work experiences, which is either paid or unpaid work experience that students are involved in, within the, just in the community setting itself, and then within the vans, buses, and transportation, because we do use public transportation quite a bit with our students. So we try and talk about all of those settings and looking at the overall. One of the things that we really work with our PBIS program is how does that look for an adult life? How do you bring this out and generalize this to your employment? How do you show acceptance in the employment field? How are you independent when you're working? And then how do you show merit? Because like Luann said, one of our big goals at BTC is to not only help students get jobs, but maintain them. And what we see often is that students are able to have those initial skills to get the job, but maintaining the job for more than 3 months might be a challenge for some of our students.
And what you see in front of you, this matrix itself was actually completed by the students. So they actually came up with the wording that they wanted in each one of these experiences and kind of how they felt it needed to be when they're out in the community or here at school. But all of these that are in here was actually created by our students.
And then just like everyone else, we had to add another matrix for our distance learning this past year. For Bloomington, our secondary programs were in distance learning from March of last year until March of this year. So we did not do any hybrid. We went from, fully in person to fully distance, and then we stayed that way for the year. So this is one of, we had to create this matrix to cover that area. So just another example of how we, turned our matrix in, and continued that PBIS experience even in a distance learning setting.
It actually worked out really well. The students really enjoyed it. And I feel like we had really great participation in our classes during distance learning, which was really nice.
Mm-hmm. And then here's a couple samples of our AIM tickets. The one on the left was what we used originally. We are a very small program, so we have anywhere between 20 and 30 students. And then we do have some paraprofessional staff that work with us. So we have enough staff that we decided to move it over to the AIM ticket on the right so that we could write a little bit more personalized notes for the students on exactly what we were seeing and how, they showed acceptance, independence, or merit. So we've been using the one on the left or on the right more recently. And then for distance learning, we did the same version, but we did it via email instead. So we just did email shout outs. Now I know we were a little bit more fortunate just because we do have a small site that we were able to, be able to keep up with that flux of AIM tickets. So, all right.
All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to introduce our student panel. I'm going to actually stop presenting right now.
So just click there. Stop sharing.
Okay,
on, guys.
So come on in. Welcome, everyone. So these are our volunteers that are here today to share their experience with us at BTC and their experience using PBIS at BTC. So I'd like to first of all just introduce our volunteers. I'm going to start right here. This is Aaron. And then we have Ben. We have Alex. And we have Nalady. Okay, and what I'm going to do is have each one of them go ahead and just, say who they are and how long they've been here at BTC, and just give you a little bit of experience about them. So we'll start right here with Aaron.
My name's Aaron, and I've been here at BTC for 2 years.
My name's Ben. I've been here for 2 years.
My name's Alex, and I've been here for 1 year.
My name's Nalady, and I've been here for 1 year.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll open it up to questions when we're done with the panel, but we've got 2 questions that we're going to ask the students, and they're each going to respond to the question with their own experience and what it's been like for them. So the first question is they're going to tell us about their experience with PBIS here at BTC and what it's been like for them. So we're going to start and just kind of go around the table, but we'll start with Aaron.
Being on the PBIS team has given me the opportunity to be in a leadership role. Within that, I began to given the opportunity to collaborate with other people to help come up with ideas for our classroom in school, successfully come up with rules and new rewards and how would like to BTC community to run.
You're okay.
That's good. You're doing great, Aaron. Okay, thank you, Aaron.
My experience would be taking a leadership role while still working with the other students not on the PBIS team to make sure everyone has a positive PBIS experience.
Thank you, Ben.
It gave me an opportunity to be a part of a leadership team. Before I came to BTC, I had no idea what PBIS was. It's been a positive experience in creating ideas for other students.
Thank you, Alex.
Getting a job was something that I thought I would struggle with because I didn't really think that I could find anyone that would want to hire me. But now I find myself working at my first ever job. When I first came here, I didn't think that I didn't think that I would meet people that really understood the amount of help that I needed. But in all reality, in the time that I've been here, I find that I met people that truly could help me with things that I really needed. They even have more confidence in me than me most of the time. Being here has given me plenty of opportunities to prove myself wrong and show me that I am a lot more smarter and a lot more capable than I give myself credit for. I didn't think I was smart enough to get into college, even though I really wanted to go. But since I got here, I took the Accuplacer and found that I was 10 points above what I would need to go to the college that I want.
Nice. Thank you, Naledi. Thank you, everyone. So great answers. We really love hearing how it's really helped each one of you in your own experience, and that's been really great. Our other question is, we'd also like to know how is AIM, the three areas, the acceptance, independence, and merit, which one do you feel has really been beneficial for you? And if you could tell us a little bit about why it's been beneficial for you or what you liked about it. So we'll start with you, Aaron.
Mine has to be independence. After this experience, I not only feel like I have the skills to try things on my own, but I also have the confidence I need to step out on my own and do things independently.
Okay, thank you.
I also chose independence. Last year, it was my first year at BTC. I didn't really ask for help when I needed it, but now that it's my second year, I can be independent and ask for help when I do need it.
Great, thank you, Ben.
I chose acceptance because I feel very accepted and supported at BTC. Before I came to BTC, I felt I wasn't very supported by people around me, so it feels good to be at a school that supports me for who I am. BTC has helped me gain confidence to do what I need, like get my first job and apply for college.
Okay, thank you, Alex.
I thought being independent only meant doing things on your own. I didn't really understand what it took to be independent until I started doing things myself. Then I found that it meant more than just doing things on your own. It's how to be reliable and ask when I need help and tell myself that I'm not bothering people by doing so. It's most importantly learning how to help myself, how to build my own relationships, and how to follow the rules that I set for myself. The more and more I do things independently, the more I get better at being independent. It's still hard for me to do and understand. For me, relying on myself to get things done is still a very hard thing for me to do. And asking for help can still be very hard. But as I do it more and more, the more I realize how independent I can be one day at a time, and one accomplishment at a time. The more and more I break from my bubble, the more and more I am able to see that independence isn't as out of reach as I thought.
Thank you, panel. I really appreciate that. What I really like hearing is the fact that each and every one of you has really grown from the experience with PBIS, each in your own way, which is really nice to hear about how it's affected you and kind of helped you gain that confidence that you talked about, or just that acceptance of being who you are. So, and that's really what we strive for here at BTC, is that you all are individuals and what you can do to improve for yourself and being independent, living on your own, which is great. So what we'd like to do right now is open up the panel for questions. So if anyone would like to ask our panel questions about PBIS, we'll open that up right now. And we'll go ahead if you want to unmute yourself, or if you want to put it in the chat box. We can give you a couple minutes here to think about some questions you might want to ask them about it.
I'm gonna just click on the chat, Luann, so we can see it.
Sure.
All right, anybody have any questions for our students? They're ready. While people are thinking, we know one thing that a lot of people struggle with in a secondary program is giving out the tickets for students. They feel like students think that that's, beneath them or whatever. So student panel, will you guys talk a little bit about what receiving AIM tickets means to you, or what do you think about them, or how do you feel about getting an AIM ticket? Whoever wants to go, you can just jump in.
Yeah, I think that it's like a very quick and efficient way to let students know what they're doing right. Even though it's nice to be acknowledged face to face, it's also good to just like take a moment and let them read it themselves.
Great, thank you, Naledi.
It feels good to be recognized for good things we're doing, even if it's small, and to get AIM tickets by like the teachers and the other staff.
Okay, thank you, Alex.
We learn from being reinforced positively and not negatively.
Great, thanks, Dan.
I think it's just a fun system, and seeing what we did to get the AIM tickets.
Great, thank you, everyone.
Wonderful. I think we do have some questions in the chat, if I might read those out loud. And just remember to talk really loud so we can hear you. You guys are doing great. So the first question I have are, what are some of the positive initiatives you have used in your school?
So what are some of the things that we've done? Like, what are some of the things you see in the reward center? What are some of our fun activities that we've done?
Well, for me, that goes into the independence, because it was learning how to take the bus, which I didn't know how to do before. So doing that was really cool, and now I have a better understanding how to do it.
So yeah, some of our community, so we do some
Yep.
community experiences by going out on the bus. Good.
I mean, for me, it's that really helped me with my permit over the school year, and that really helped me with the independence piece too at the same time. So.
Okay.
Thank you, Erin.
Wonderful. Well, I can keep going with other questions that we have in the chat, if that's okay.
Sounds good, Lindsay.
Okay. All right. So we have here from Rebecca. I hear you say you are part of a PBIS team. Did you choose to be on this team? Is it made up of many students? How were you chosen? We don't have a student team, but this seems like a great idea for our middle school. What advice do you have for us to form a student PBIS team? There's a lot of questions.
Well, I'll start with that one. So for our team, because we're an adult focused, we do have the students are part of our full PBIS team here at BTC. And we try and, it was voluntary, like we explained what PBIS was, and then asked for some volunteers. And we did try to make sure that we had a mix of students that are new to our buildings, like first year students, and then a couple of second year students as well. And then Aaron, Ben, and Alex are three of the students that represent our team, and I'll let them talk a little bit about what that's meant for them. So what are some of the things you do on the team?
For me, it's been pretty fun to be able to like create new things to do like with the students, and like kind of ways to be more positive.
Thank you, Alex.
For me, it's probably learning or like creating like the new rewards and like just picking them.
Can you maybe tell them what some of the rewards are that we have?
We have a bunch of like drinks, some snacks, skip an assignment. Yeah.
And then during distance learning, can you remember any of the ones we had during distance learning that were options? Anyone remember?
I think I remember that. It was a parade by your house, was one of them. Virtual game with staff, one of them. We did a virtual pinwheel that some people could choose from, or have a chance at, and receive some mail was one of them. I think that's all, the ones I can remember.
Yeah, so, we really have it open, and the students are the ones that came up with the rewards. So what they kind of wanted were those options for them to choose from. And I feel like probably the biggest one that the students would choose was the game, because a lot of students like that virtual game. We would open that up on a Friday, and we would have a game day, and the students would join, and we'd hoot and holler, and it was a lot of fun. The other one was getting mail. So the students would ask to get mail, which was kind of fun. We'd send off a card and put it in the mail for them. So those are some fun ones.
One of the other benefits of our student team, especially for say Alex and Ben, they've learned some really great negotiation skills. So as the students come up with some ideas and things, they're willing to go to our administrator and say, hey, PBIS would like this and would like that. And so they do the negotiating with our administrator and have, earned or worked towards pizza parties and, some different things like that. And they've also been turned down on a couple of more adult-like games that they are trying to.
No low voltage.
So that was helpful.
Sounds like you've really created a nice community, not only just among students, but among the whole building, really. It's really nice to hear. And I love that skip the homework assignment reward too. I think that might be my fave. I have another question/comment in the chat from Maria. I don't know, I can happily read it, but also if you guys want to read your own, you absolutely can. But it says, thank you. I was just thinking about tickets. Can they use these tickets for something after they get them?
Oh, yep. So what we do is our tickets, they cut off the bottom and then they put just their name part in like a ticket bucket. And then we do a drawing every week for a few people. And then we have a reward center that has both tangible and non-tangible rewards. So like Ben said, we have, food is a high motivator for our young adults. So we have a lot of snacks and things like that, but we have, some card games. We have, some of the plastic straws or like the reusable straws. But then we also have tickets so that they can get a ticket out of it. So like Ben said, for skipping an assignment, during the regular normal school year, we have, like a 15-20 minute break ticket that they can get. We happen to be close to a couple of restaurants, so they can do an off-campus lunch on occasion. So those are some of our non-tangible rewards.
Very cool. Thank you. And you
Thank
kind of, oops, sorry.
No, I was just going to say thank you. And I'm so proud of you kiddos for stepping up and being on your committee at your school and being on the Zoom with all of these people that you don't even know. That is a huge step. And you should be very, very proud of yourself. I like the ideas about getting mail. That's kind of cool. So I am definitely going to write down some of these ideas that you came up with because I am at a high school. We also like food. Food is always a good motivator, food and drink. And just the games and having the things to do with other people. But you should be proud of yourself. This is a big deal to be on this seminar today. So I just wanted to give props to you.
Thank you.
Lindsay, I had a question for the team.
Go ahead, Robin/John.
I know, right? So confusing. Sorry. So BTC team, I'm just wondering, how would you use PBIS in a workplace setting? So after you leave BTC?
Yeah, so like I said, BTC is one of the reasons why I even have the job to begin with, which is really cool. I think that it helps with tailoring what type of job you can need and having some support on the job too.
Naledi, do you see that you use acceptance, independence, or merit? Do you use that at your job currently?
Yeah, definitely independence because I tend to do things on my own and ask questions when I need help with it. Right, it's really good. And also like merit because I always believe in early person first, so that's good.
Good. Perfect. Thank you for sharing.
And actually, all of our students here right now all have a job, which is really nice. They're all working.
Anyone else?
Kind of the same as Milady, but the BTC helped me practice for interviews and stuff like that, and that's why I have my first job now.
Great. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robin.
Yep. I have one other question. I just want to ask the panel, how do they actually feel about PBIS? What's your thoughts on PBIS in general? Okay.
I really like the fact that it's given me a little control on learning because we've been able to pick our own rewards and speak up to get others engaged in PBIS.
Thanks, Ben.
I feel like I have empowered me to have more input in schooling in our community. I can help create BTC and PBIS to give me more control over my schooling experience and has helped me mold it into the experience I would like to have.
Nice. Thank you, Aaron.
I think it's a very one-on-one schooling system, which is really cool and something that I didn't really have back in school, which is really cool.
Okay, great. Thank you, Naledi.
I feel that it provides stability and it gives students a chance to learn and be excited instead of feeling pressured to learn. And it focuses on the good that students are doing.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, I'll throw out one more question. And the last question is, what do you think the difference is between being in a PBIS school versus one that isn't using PBIS?
I think we get to know the rules more clearly just because if there's a new rule or guideline put out, we know why it's being put out instead of just saying, there's a new rule, here it is. They explain it more.
Okay, great. Thank you, Aaron.
For me, I said your expectations are more specific and tailored towards your goals.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ben.
I feel that being in a PBIS school, like it focuses more on the positive than the negative.
Okay, great. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, I think that it works a lot more directly with the things that you need than maybe regular high school would. Specifically and also getting a job, but also with the colleges and stuff, which is really cool.
Great. Well, thank you, panel. You've done a great job, and we're just so happy that you're here today, volunteering your time. Was there any other questions?
It does look like there was one other question about them sitting on the PBIS committee meetings. And yes, our students we do hold our committee meetings during the school day so that students can be part of it. We do have a smaller break off of staff when we have to talk more student-specific data just for confidentiality purposes. But for the most part, our students are part of our whole committee process, other than just that confidentiality part on specific data with student names.
This is Lindsay. I don't have a question for the panel. I just wanted to make sure our guests today were able to access the bit link that was on the PowerPoint in the beginning. I don't know if one of you were able to put that in the chat.
Not yet, but it's coming
Okay.
back up on the slides here in just a second.
Okay, perfect.
So if there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and let our panel be excused, and we'll just thank them for coming and how much we appreciate their time. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, now we'll share a few more ideas of what we've done and what it kind of looks like in our building. Yeah. And then again, the bit.ly will be coming up on the screen here next. There it is. All right. So we broke it up into some student ideas that we've used and then some staff ideas. So let me check our time here. Okay, we've got a little bit of time. So the first one is our golden shovel. When we have students requesting or doing some reflective thinking, that's one of the things that we often are asking our students to do. So we have a golden shovel award, and what we do is it certifies, it gives them a certificate for their ability to dig deep to get meaning and connection out of their learning. And so what we do is we have a golden shovel hanging on our wall, and then the recipients are able to sign their name on the poster underneath for each year. And then they get the award, and there is an option for them if they want their picture with the golden shovel. We have another golden shovel that they can take their picture with. So that's our golden shovel award. And then we also do a You Rock thing. So this year, what we've done is we do advice from a rock, and it says, advice from a rock: live in balance, stay grounded, try your hardest, be well-rounded, never take life for granted, and then always remember. And then inside that little packet is a rock that says you rock. Now I'm a stamper, so I stamp on the rocks, but you can just use permanent marker and write on them also. And then here are some ways we've used it. This year we had a rock, paper, scissors tournament when we got back in order to build some community once we got back in March. And so we did some double elimination and played a few rounds for the first 2 weeks. And then they could earn, or the champions won a You Rock. And then, so we've listed that we used to do the double elimination. And then there's a couple of other versions of obviously rock, paper, scissors. Oh, you can just go back one slide. And then, but we also did a virtual vacation. Obviously, a lot of students weren't getting out and about this year, so we did a virtual vacation to Lake Superior, and we gave them a rock from the shores of Lake Superior. And so the virtual vacation is there too. It just gave some information about Lake Superior and just, again, kind of building that knowledge of what's around our state. We've given them in the past to staff just for an appreciation day or just because. We've also used them district-wide with our mentor program to give to the new teachers in buildings, kind of as like a, guide or advice for their first year, or just give them out for fun. So those are some of the ways that we've used the You Rock things. And a lot of people ask where we get our rocks. Our family goes up to Lake Superior quite often, so then I always bring an ice cream bucket and everybody has to collect small flat rocks for me. So each time we go, that's where I get them, and then I just keep them in the garage until we need them.
So this is something Melissa brought back to us, and it was such an awesome idea. And the kids really enjoyed it. It was just a great opportunity, and they thought it was wonderful.
So yeah, just a lot of different ways. We also started this year off with a knock your socks off. We try and do some little small gift at the beginning of the year. So we created these little gift bags for students that just said, we hope this school year knocks your socks off. And we did dollar socks from the dollar store, just with the fun designs on them and gave them. And we did it this year because of the virtual meeting, since everybody was at home. So the students came in to grab their stuff for this, the start of the year, the Chromebooks and whatnot. And then we just decorated the bags and did that. And again, I know we're a little bit smaller site, so we have a little bit more opportunity to do this. It might not be as feasible in a large site. We also did, again, because food is a big part of our, our lives, we did a BTC Eats. So during distance learning, we delivered breakfast to students that chose to have it. So it was just for one day, and it was just a fun breakfast. They filled out a form. We took a bunch of pictures at Target so they knew exactly what they were ordering, and gave them, because we were also staying within our district wellness guidelines. So we did a protein and a fruit and some different things. So you can look at the form and it'll show you kind of how we broke it down. And then we were able to, minimize our purchasing, so we didn't have a ton extra. The extra we did have went into our reward center for when we got back. And then this was just a sticker that we stuck on the front of the bags. So we have some bounce cards, is what we call them. This came from our QComp team, and just for culturally relevant teaching. And so it's just a way to help students with, facilitating conversations. So these are sitting on our tables around our cup holders, and on the tables just as a little trifold thing, so that they can help, again, just help facilitate that conversation. So you can see that's just, it sits on our table, we laminate them and sit on there for discussions, and reference them as we, throughout the discussion. Gratitude cards, these were just kind of a fun thing that we got from Edmentum. So they were just kind of another fun way, kind of like a ticket, but just something a little different. In one of my former buildings, what we did is we created things like this, but we had specialized like AIM tickets. So like if it was the first day of the Twins home opener, we would have like a special baseball one. So they had a different design on them. But this is kind of the same idea. So these were just some fun ones that we had gotten for free and gave out. Of course, the students thought they were a little cheesy, but it makes them laugh. The group discussion sentence starters are the same kind of idea as the bounce cards. Again, just in a different format. We still have our Elmo device, so we just project this on the board when we're having some of those deeper conversations, and put that on so that students have, again, some prompting to be able to facilitate those conversations, especially, like I said, when we get into a little bit deeper topics in the adult world. This was another idea from a Culturally Responsive, doing a rating scale in just a different format, so how much do you know about this topic? Just a drop of information up to, and then we use Lake Superior, of course, because we're in Minnesota, up to, I know as much as it would fill Lake Superior. So then students could just put this, what we do is we project it on the board again because of our Elmo, and then students could just go up and take a marker and mark, so they could see kind of where it was kind of a quick formative assessment that we could do. And then this is a social autopsy for when students have some disagreements or there's some behaviors that come up. This just guides us in how we can talk them through it. Some students choose to fill it out in writing. Some students prefer that we just do a verbal walkthrough, but it really is a nice job. And I like the concept of social autopsy, to be able to talk about like, oops, what happened and how can I fix it? What'll I do next time? What are some things I can look for? So those are some of our student ideas. And now we'll move on to some staff ideas. Does anybody have questions on the student ideas?
I know we're going through it fast because it's a lot of information, but this is all stuff that Melissa has brought to our PBIS team, and her ideas have worked great with the students. All of this just flows so well together, and it just really helps those students feel more confident about themselves and more independent.
So here's some staff ideas. The substitute golden ticket actually was used in a different building where in the elementary building I was in, but it worked really, really great. So I wanted to share the idea. So we call our substitute teachers guest teachers in our building, just so that it, because we wanted to portray that idea of how you treat a guest in your home. But we all know that substitutes can struggle with classroom management of students. So what we would do is we bought special paper, and when the sub came in or the guest teacher came into the building, they got 2 tickets to give to students in that class for the day, and they were on golden paper. So so it was very special and glimmery, and students could only earn the golden ticket when the sub was in the classroom. So students worked really hard to, show their best behavior. And then if you go to the next slide, Luann, we had this was a little blurb that we gave to the guest teacher when they came in. And then students could put those in the same bucket that they did the drawing for. But if a golden ticket was drawn, then they got a Subway lunch. So like a sub for a sub. And Subway actually donated a bunch of coupons to us at the time. So we just used those. That's how we paid for the subs. And then we just asked a staff that was free at that time to run and pick the subs up. So on the next slide, Luann, you can see there was just that we did a quick order sheet. So we had them and we could call Subway in the morning and order. And we did, I think, like 4 of them at a time. So that wasn't overwhelming number of students. And then we just used those coupons. So they got the golden ticket worked really well though with our subs. Our subs really liked it, our guest teachers, and then the students we saw an increase in positive behavior when guest teachers were in the building.
But what I really like is not calling them a sub. I really like how we use the term guest speaker, which just sounds so much better than just the sub.
This is something that's been fun to use in multiple buildings. It's our staff favorite list. So what we do at the beginning of the year is we create this spreadsheet and staff fill it in. And it just talks about what they like. So we have, if they want to put their cell phone number on there, they can, so that you can, send quick texts or whatever to each other. Some of their favorite candies, you can see the list down there. But then what happens is if somebody's having a rough day or if they've done something nice for each other, you can go to this favorites list and see something that they like and then surprise them with a little something. So we use it for, send in some sunshine just because, or some appreciation for those staff that, help us out when we're in a bind or those kinds of things. So it's been fun to be able, and then all staff have access to this. So we share it out with the whole building and put it in. Now, when we were in a larger building, we just did tabs along the bottom to kind of separate out so people could find who they were, a little faster. The next one are the teacher-to-teacher gratitude cards. They're the same thing from Edmentum, but they were from staff to staff. So just kind of a fun thing to throw on a staff desk or in a mailbox. And then the next few are just some more seasonal ones. So this was a pumpkin poem for staff. That idea where so we started it as a PBIS team. So each team members gave out 2 or 3 so that we could kind of have a wide net. And then it's like a, dash thing where you stick it on their desk and then run so they don't see you or deliver it at, after school or whatever. And then they put the pumpkin outside their room so that that people know that they've been given a pumpkin thing, a gift. And then it's kind of a trickle down effect. So it goes over across multiple staff. And then at the very last day, we put like a week or so on it. And then the last day, we made sure as a PBIS team that everybody had gotten something little. So, and we intentionally kept it Halloween free. So it's more harvest fall-ish than holiday specific. This was a bulletin board that we put in our staff lounge after winter break, just as a kind of a PBIS refresher. And so we had just, backed all of these ideas on cardstock and just put those on just again as a quick refresher and a reminder of, what can we do to reboot with PBIS after a break. And then again, May Day baskets, because that end of the year, as we know, can get kind of hectic and long. So this was, again, an optional activity for staff, because we do know people's stress level was a little higher, but it was also kind of meant for some fun. So it's kind of like a secret Santa or secret gift exchange. We had dates, and then you would fill out a sheet of paper if you were interested. It kind of gives some ideas of what you like. That goes in a basket, and then at the end of the week, when everybody's had a chance to put theirs in, you draw a name out, and then you deliver a May Day basket on the May 1st, and then reveal yourself afterwards. And there's all of the forms that we used for that.
So as you can see, there's lots and lots of ideas here for you to take back and be able to use in your classroom, which is just, it's great. I mean, and the students really enjoy it. So our last is, we'll just open it up to questions. If there's any questions about what we've presented so far, we're here to answer any more questions. I will stop presenting. Say right there.
Yep.
There you go.
And again, all of the stuff is in there for you. It's a view only, so you just have to make a copy of it, and then you can edit it however you'd like. That's one of the things that we love about PBIS is just the idea shares that everybody, does, so that it, because it doesn't help to keep it just in one spot. If it helps students, we really want it to be available to everybody.
Well, I have to tell you, it's been an honor for me to work with Melissa. I don't know if any of you know, but I retired this year, so it's going to be really sad. I'm not going to be part of the team anymore, but I will still be around, and I'll still volunteer and help out. But I think the PBIS concept is so wonderful in the schools, because it really does give the students their own ownership on how they want to be, that independent piece, feeling good about themselves, that confidence. And I really like how they came up with the logo for AIM. They came up with the acceptance, independence, and merit. This is everything that has been created for our whole PBIS program has been created by the students. They came up with pretty much everything that we use as far as what the expectations are, what they want to see, what they want to have improved, and what they're looking for. So I just like the whole realm of it, that it's really incorporated for them taking their own ownership towards what they want, that part. And then again, Melissa's awesome. So that part is like a no-brainer, but yeah. So.
Great. Any questions, you guys? Comments? Sorry, we went through it kind of fast. I wasn't sure. We weren't sure what timing was going to be like with our panel and stuff.
Right.
So. All right. Well, then, thank you. That's all we've got. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
Thank you.